We're sitting down with Shane, Mike, and Tony from Attack with Force, Krash, and Repair. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Hell yeah. Glad to be here.
Can you just tell me a little bit about Attack with Force before I start asking questions? I have a bunch of questions sitting here, but...
Yeah, fair enough. Attack with Force has basically started to be like a one-stop shop for all of our bands because we had too many bands going at the same time, and we're like sick of running a million different Gmail accounts. Like, how about we just have one place to get all of our merch?
Okay.
But then a few of our bands stopped being active, so now it's just basically Krash and Repair, and then some other friends of ours that we've released their music, but Krash and Repair are the only bands directly involved with Attack with Force.
Oh, okay. So there's a few times that I've seen a lot of really good releases coming out of Attack with Force. So how does that work when you're working with like the BC Skins and you're working with other Oi bands and you're working with Exang now as well?
That's mainly just like bands that we've seen at shows that me and Shane will go up to each other if we see a band at a show that we think is really good, and we're like, let's just like contact them, see if they're down to put out a tape, and it's just kind of worked out that way. Like,
he handles a lot of the hardcore and Oi, and I'm trying to get a little bit more of a handle on like the rank grind and stuff. I mean, none of it has been unsuccessful so far, but we're looking to make it a lot more successful.
So on that note, what is your guys' idea of success when we're talking about any of the, Attack with Force, Repair, or Krash? What's your idea of success with that?
Probably just like being able to tour and play with like-minded bands, and like, we're not trying to do this to make money, but if we could eke out a little tiny living from it, that'd be cool. But that's not why we're doing it. We're just trying to support punk and hardcore and extreme underground music that we like. And as long as there's shows and people showing up to shows and more bands starting and the scene just keeps kind of like the circle of life goes on, I just want to be part of that whole circle, basically.
Basically, we want the kids to bop.
That one.
I believe that punk and hardcore should always stay with the children, and I'm already getting old. I hate my life. But it should always be within the children, so we're doing a lot more all ages shows, but the thing is booking a lot more bands and doing tapes for bands that no one has an opening for. Like Exang, I don't think no one in Saskatoon's bothering with this stuff anymore. Like,
when we're talking about the Saskatoon scene, the Saskatchewan scene, what do you think are some things that we could do as a community to make the scene more prevalent? And what do you see in the scene that you really enjoy here?
I'm definitely enjoying a lot more of the all ages shows.
Okay.
And it also relates to your first question. I believe that the all ages shows are key to keeping this alive.
Yeah.
We need more all ages shows. We need to get away from bars, do a lot more halls, stuff, places like that.
All the local bars are great, and that's nice and all, but eventually you kind of end up playing to the same crowd forever.
Yeah.
And then that just kind of dies off with a generation instead of it getting passed on. So I think that's what I do like, is that there's been a lot of all ages shows, and there's new venues that I have never played before and heard about years ago, like popping up again, like the Cosmo Senior Center, stuff like that.
That, honestly, on that subject, that is a rad venue, man. I had no idea that existed until I went to Throwdown.
I'd always heard about shows happening there back in the day, but I'd never been to one, and I was like, yeah, this is an awesome venue.
And the kids were bopping.
They were bopping.
Shout out to Cosmo.
Yeah.
Shout out to Cosmo.
Yeah, that was sick.
And Broadway Theater. Thanks for that.
Yeah, Broadway is amazing, man. If you get a membership there, you're set for life, bro.
Well, then, the guy who does a lot of the booking, Scott Hamilton. He's obviously in the band Ken Mode, but he's helped us out actually quite a bit with most of our projects. Like, he got us some crazy shows with our old band Goat Hammer. He, like, with Revenge, with Winterruption. Yeah. Like, he's shout out to Scott Hamilton for sure, and Broadway Theater.
Yeah,
Black Cat's a staple of the scene.
Right? It totally is. It totally is. So you kind of already answered this earlier, but how did Attack with Force come to be? You kind of answered already, but how did you guys put it together, I guess?
honestly, I think I was really obsessed with Minor Threat my whole life, and like Discord Records that Ian Mackay
Hell
came
yeah.
up with. That was always like a constant inspiration on everything, where I'm like, we could work with other labels and that's cool, but I kind of just want to like start our own label and only bands that we like really love. Like we only want to put out stuff that we actually would listen to all the time. You know?
Mhm.
So far, we've only done what, 2 other releases, or well, Pure Impact, Concrete Grave, Eggsang, 3. Well, either way, those are all things. Those are all things I would listen to on my own time and do like all the time.
Like when me and Tony thought of the idea, first things first, it came from the title of one of our early bands that me and him had together, which was Blade Force. Second track, demo 2018, Attack with Force. We thought that was an appropriate title due to the single fact that we both tried for a long time to get someone to put our stuff out with our other bands. He's had success with Goathammer, with Hell's Headbangers, but I got denied a few times trying to get releases from certain labels. I'm not going to name any fucking labels, labels, because it gets a little embarrassing when I number the amounts.
It's long.
Yeah. But we decided that we would just start doing this ourselves. And I'm happy with what's going on with it so far. And we look to grow this to the point where no one that we think deserves a release will be neglected.
Before we even start talking about Crash and Repair, I want each of you to answer this and do it like as simply as you can. All right, because you can make it complicated.
Oh, I can complicate everything.
Shane can make it complicated.
Absolutely, yeah. He always does.
We'll start with him and go to me. Yeah.
So, before I crack a beer, if your music taste was a sandwich, what kind of sandwich would you build?
Are you asking me for a specific type of sandwich first, or do you mean like what bands would make the
So
sandwich?
what band would be the bread? What band would be the cheese?
Okay, gotcha. Okay, the bread, very important, integral part of the sandwich. I'd probably go with Minor Threat, and then for the meat of it, I would go with Slayer, because that's where I get like that helped me like get better at guitar, was listening to fast shit like Slayer. So that'd be the meat. This is fucking tricky.
We go for lettuce and tomatoes.
Oh, I'd probably go with the Ramones, just to keep it simple. Keep it very simple. And then for the sauce, I'm gonna go with Negative Approach. I think that's the way to do it.
I think your answers are amazing. I'm just laughing at his reaction.
I know you're getting hyped on sandwiches.
I'm terrible at these questions, so forgive me on this one, but
Bread. What's your bread?
your cheeks. For bread, I would probably have to say, I'm not going to say any specific bands because I'm terrible at names, like I said.
Fair.
But bread would probably be like Baroque classical. I grew up on that stuff. I did violin, viola, cello, all that fun stuff.
Okay, that's dope.
Lettuce, veggies, and all that definitely would be like funk and soul. Once again, I'm originally a bass player, so learning Bootsy Collins, Jaco Pastorius, stuff like that. That was big influence for me. And then the meat, the extreme stuff. I could go from Blasphemy to the Stooges to the Buzzcocks all the way up to Bathory. Like, it's very sporadic, and variety is the spice of life. So I guess I'd be cold cuts.
Hell yeah.
Bread.
Barney.
Leonard Skinner, CCR.
Okay.
Cheese, definitely Rush or Uriah Heep.
Okay.
Meat, I'm going to say Slayer, Amoebix, Nocturnus. Like a lot of greasy, like early Sepultura. Pickles.
Oh, we're adding pickles. I'm here for it.
We're adding everything here, boys. Come on, man. Pickles, maybe like some Towns Van Zandt, some old school homegrown shit. And, a mayo, Amoebix, DRI.
That's a lot of mayo.
Maybe some Tsunami, like some early. Well, that's stinky mustard. Dude, it's a sandwich. I'm
It's
allowed
like
to
when
add
I
whatever I
make a
want,
sandwich.
dude. This is literally like a sandwich. When was the last time you made the best sandwich of your life?
The only way that I make a sandwich or a burger is if I actually cannot fit my mouth around it.
Hell yeah, you're real like Python. You're an anaconda, dude. Hell yeah, me too, man.
It's the same way I deal with dick as well.
I also big sucker. I will do this shout out too. It's almost Halloween. Every Halloween I get into a Misfits kick. I don't know why, it just happens. So I'll say that's the aioli on this fucking sandwich.
I'm still laughing at big sucker.
Yeah, that's my sandwich.
It's cliche to ask this, but I think it's a good opportunity for you to describe Krash and to describe Repair before we start talking about them or we dive into the scene further.
Right. Okay. So Krash, we kind of started that like wanting to be very unoriginal, by the books, like D-Beat, like Discharge and Discard and all the old like UK 82 and D-Beat. We wanted it to just sound like that. And yeah, Decontrol from Saskatoon. We wanted it to sound like them as well. They were like a big influence on us. This band from the 90s called Decontrol.
I've never heard of
They're
Decontrol.
an old DB band from our same end of town. Like they're from like Confed area.
No
The
shit.
one guy still lives there to this day. We hang out with him occasionally.
We cover it arms and fucking teeth.
Does he have any material? Like, can we check it
they're
out?
on YouTube. They got records. They've got all
Okay,
sorts of
sick.
shit.
I've never heard of them.
Decontrol. They have a record called In Trenches. It's a really fucking good punk record.
Fuck yeah.
And same with The Final War.
Hook me up with that. We'll definitely talk about that.
I'll let you give you my copy.
Okay.
I will.
Fuck yeah. My favorite thing about any scene is finding bands from the 70s, 80s, 90s that I've never fucking heard of before.
See, that's how somebody told me about Decontrol. They're like, you're from Saskatoon, you play D-Beat and you haven't heard of this band Decontrol? And I like dug into it and there's like photos of them playing at the Vimy Ridge War Memorial with like a big like band.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, they got apparently like they got shows shut down there. You're not allowed to play shows there anymore because they fucking like had so many punks there just ruining the grass.
Oh
And
shit.
there's like a photo of them there with like anarchy signs and like
They had an air raid playing for like the whole time that they played, which was also probably making everybody bummed out. It was so loud to the point where like nobody else could hear anything.
anyways, Repair is more of we were really influenced by Judge, Youth of Today, New York hardcore, not so much like the spiky jacket punk. And we're like, we want it to be like, like tough, fast, right to the point hardcore.
Like Agnostic Front
yeah,
kind of.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like Agnostic Front, Warzone, Judge, just straight to the point.
Hell yeah.
So that was basically the inspiration behind Repair. And to like separate the two, because if we would have just put that into Krash, it would have ruined Krash. It would have made us sound like this mishmash of nonsense.
When we're talking about Krash and we're talking about Repair, they're obviously two separate entities with completely different energy, and you guys are switching instruments and just changing the entire vibe. What can fans expect from Krash and Repair in the next year?
Krash is gonna go record our full-length album. We're working with a label from the States. We're gonna record that probably the next month or so, and then Repair is working on a full length as well, and we're gonna record that probably in like February. But I can imagine they'll both probably be out in spring next year, like March or April, both full length albums. So those should both be out around the same time. Repair will be maybe a month behind it, but yeah, 2 full length albums.
How do you guys maintain kind of a work music life balance?
Well, I'm currently unemployed.
I was going to say
that's
Shane's
helping.
probably the unemployed one.
No,
You're so wrong.
no, it's the exact opposite. But I'm unemployed right now, so that I actually have time to do all of the band stuff that I've been working on.
Well, so how do you balance a music work and life balance, right?
Basically, I get a somewhat okay, decent job, and then I quit it anytime I need to for shows. It's
Okay.
not a healthy thing to do. I don't recommend doing it, but that's what I've been doing because it's the only way I can make it work. So,
All right, Cam here. I got one more question for you guys. If you had any advice to give young musicians, upcoming kids in the scene that want to start a band or get some sort of success with their bands, what would it be?
Just don't waste time. There's a very finite amount of time you can do this stuff, so get right on it. Link up with other people that you think are into like metal or punk or whatever you're into. If you see somebody you're going to school with or wherever, like just hit them up. Like that's how we all did it. Like I saw dudes at shows wearing the same like kind of stuff as us, and we're like, okay, they're wearing the same patches, the same shirts. May as well just like go ask them to start a band, and then the rest is history. That's all it takes.
Your first band, if it doesn't go your way, that's okay. Don't give up after that. If it falls apart, pick up again. Never quit.
Meet somebody like this guy. Best friend in the world? Fuck you, you're great too, buddy. But chemistry is very important. If you meet somebody that you feel like you click with, play a lot of music with them. Become best friends with them. You never know what's going to happen. You might have just met the best friend of your whole life.
Agree with that.
You might make the best music in the world too. I ain't going to say nothing else.
All of a sudden he's from the Bronx. I ain't going to say nothing else, eh? New York hardcore. Sit down for a second.
I'm going to sit down again. Fuck.
Oh my God.
Stand up. Sit down. I feel like I'm in church.
I just want to say thank you guys so much for being here. If you enjoyed today's show, we have lots of live content and live shows coming to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@cratediving. This show is produced by Deathotel Creative, hosted by myself, Dr. Mystery. You can check out more engaging content at notwhatwesay.com. Please like, subscribe, or follow for more great Canadian heavy music. And since you're here, check out below. There's a bunch of links that you can check out, and you can check out Attack with Force, Krash, and Repair. Thanks again, guys.